it doesn't take you very long when you first start sewing that you realize that, well, learning to sew is way more than just learning to use your machine. And so these are the 14 things that I wish someone told me, drilled into me, made me realize that I really needed to know about when I was just beginning to learn to sew. And so hopefully, I think you can relate, and this might save you a few of the trial and errors that perhaps I had to go through. Welcome back, my sewing friends. It is delightful to see you again as always. If you're actually just seeing here for the first time, then welcome. My name is Evelyn Wood, and here on this channel we do everything vintage sewing skills for our modern day sewing. So it's not about vintage style, but the vintage skills, the skill, the craft, the art of dressmaking. That is what we talk about here on this channel. So if it's something that you're interested in, hit the subscribe button so you can get all the future videos, because this one is, well, I've so asked. It's so funny. So what these things that we wish someone told us when we started to learn to sew. I can't tell you the amount of sort of those light bulb moments that you have in your sewing journey as you go along, and it's quite comical sometimes when you look back, because you just think it's so obvious, but why didn't anyone tell you about this? Or maybe they did tell you about it, but you just didn't really listen or think it was so important, and skipping things, and so I wish someone told me when I first started sewing, do you know that there are different needles for different kinds of fabric? I know, who knew, right? Exactly. I really wish someone had mentioned that. I mean, they tell you about different fabric suggestions on the pattern envelope, but they don't tell you about different needle suggestions, do they? How are you supposed to know this? And on that note, change your needle. How long have you been sewing with that same needle in your machine? I know I had it in there for a very long time before I realized that yes, they get blunt and it causes all sorts of issues. I do in fact have videos on sewing machine needles and changing, when to know when to change it. I'll link all of these extra videos down below, because basically this whole list is a list of videos that I've made about all of these topics, so they're all going to be linked down below. Don't worry about that. I wish someone told me not to be scared of fabric. It's just fabric. You can get more. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Having anxiety over cutting into the fabric is one thing that really does hold us back, and I know it held me back for such a long time, just being scared that you're going to ruin it, or ruin your fabric, waste your fabric, right? Yeah, so there's points that we're going to cover in these next few items that will help mitigate this fear of cutting into our fabric, but it really does hold us back as new sewers, and don't be scared of fabric. It's just fabric. Nothing bad's going to happen. As I said, you can always get more. It's okay to make mistakes. I really wish someone had sat me down and told me that. Mistakes are part of the process. Also made a video here. If this is what you're struggling with right now, that video will definitely help. The mistakes are part of the learning process. It is how we learn, and it is to be expected that we will make mistakes. It's not going to turn out the first time. We all fall into the trap of, I think, feeling like we're terrible at this sewing thing because we're making all of these mistakes and it's just not turning out perfect the first time, like you see everybody else doing apparently. They're not. There's always mistakes. You learn the ability to just sort of laugh at it, giggle, and just move on, just unpick, just redo it and just move on. It's part of it. Don't even give it a second thought. Your sewing will improve a lot more when you just take it as part of the sewing process. Take your time. It's not a race. Did you know that you can actually sew at a snail's pace on your sewing machine? Who knew? You don't have to go pedal to the metal and just floor it the entire way. I know. Who knew such a thing? Yeah, I wish someone told me that it is totally okay and acceptable to just sew really, really slowly, one stitch at a time, particularly in all those difficult areas. That's how you get a good result. It is not pedal to the metal, flooring it the whole way, and it's a speed race kind of thing. No, definitely not. It's okay to go really slow. Trust me, I do all the time. Don't you wish someone sat you down and told you that patterns actually need to be adjusted to fit your body? I know. We kind of have this idea that because we're making it ourselves, it'll somehow just mean that it fits our body, right? Because we've made it ourselves. What you kind of don't think about and realize at that time is that, well, yes, but you need to do the whole fitting process in between here and here, making it yourself to actually make it fit you. So yeah, you need to adjust those patterns to actually fit, just like you go into a store. If you just randomly pick out sizes, like you do with patterns and just pattern companies randomly pick out sizes, they're not going to fit you straight away. And then we go to the effort of making up a garment like the whole way without realizing that we need to fit it along the way and put it on and think, why doesn't this fit? I made it myself. Yeah, I think we all have that experience the very first garment we make, because we don't realize just how much fitting and adjusting goes into making a couture, custom-made, one-of-a-kind garment to our bodies. But that is half the fun in the process of learning to sew, I think. But it would be really nice if someone actually really explained that. I know I would have appreciated it when I very first started sewing. Clean your machine. Yeah, we have all been here and experienced this. Remember that moment that you realized that the metal plate comes off the top of the machine and then you saw what is underneath? One of my favorite quotes is from someone who left a comment somewhere on social media, I can't remember where. And again, I have a video on sewing machine maintenance that you will really love if you're just thinking, clean my machine? I didn't know this. The quote is that she was talking about taking the metal plate off, and someone was pointing. She's like, see those felt plates? See those felt pads under the metal plate? They're not supposed to be there. There's no such thing as felt plates, felt pads on your metal plate. Yeah, that's, I just thought that was hilarious because that's what it does so much. It's just felted up into these little plates, and yeah. I always appreciate people send me tags all the time of all of the fluff they get out of their machine from that sewing machine maintenance video, because often we don't realize that we're supposed to clean our machines regularly. Yes. Take a break when you're tired, stop sewing, come back the next day. This is a really big one. Nothing good is sewn after midnight, or whenever, whatever that time is for you, whenever you hit that point and you're tired, you're getting frustrated, something's not working out. I know from personal experience, you keep going, trying to push through really late at night, and it just turns into even more of a disaster. It's best to just fold it up, put it down, put it away, come back the next day, fresh, slept, recovered with a nice, fresh eyes again after some sleep and some rest. It's definitely best. I really wish someone would have pointed out just how much more sewing is than just learning to use your machine. That is but a speck of what sewing actually involves, and you just don't realize this when you start. Again, I have videos here about I believe sewing is about 70% preparation, 25% actually sewing, and then 5% of unsewing or unpicking or seam ripping. So there's actually little sewing involved. It's actually learning a whole lot of other skills, and I definitely did not realize that when I first started sewing. Pinning is way more important than it seems the first time. Right? Oh my goodness. This is how I think we go. Where we think we're going to start with pinning is where we end up with pinning, but we have to go through this whole learning curve in between. When you first get these 2 bits of fabric and you think, why do I need to put all those pins in there? I mean, I'll just hold them together and run it through the machine. Easy peasy. Of course not. It turns into a disaster, of course, and then you decide to use a few pins. And it turns out a bit better, and you think, okay, then you use all the pins and you think, wow, I've seen the light. I realize what these pins are here for. And so, of course, you pin everything, lots of pins all the time, and you get better and better at sewing. And then as you come to sort of getting quite good, you use less pins and a few less pins. And when you get very much at the other end, you can then sew without pins and put 2 bits of fabric together because you've learnt how to manipulate the fabric and hold it together, and yeah. But pinning is so important, and it's so overlooked. You think, oh, why bother? It'll be fine. It's never fine. Lots of pins are always good. I really wish someone told me to test everything. I so wish. I luckily sort of experienced this intuitively, and that when I would test and like get anything new, I would or do test stitches. But I really wish someone sat me down and told me just, this is actually what happens, but it's just not talked about. I've made videos on this. Test the stitches that you're going to use. If you've got new fabric, test the stitches, the seam finish, make sure everything's going to work on that fabric. If, you know, toiles are so important, our mock-ups, they're not a waste of time. Test the, like sewing up the garment first, test the fit. It is absolutely worth it in the long run, and that is how you not be scared of cutting into your fabric and how you get results the first time, because it's not actually the first time because you've tested things. That was such a big learning curve when I realized to take the time and do that just improved my sewing so much, but it's something that just no one sort of sits you down and tells you about. Just like how important pressing is. Don't skip it, ever. Whenever we're so tempted, we see it on the pattern instructions and it's just this one word, do this, press. And you think, it'll be right. I'll just hold the seams down and just keep going. Oh boy. Pressing makes up for so much lack of sewing skills. I wish that it had been drilled into me or someone showed me just what a big difference pressing makes. Again, I have videos here if you're interested in watching those on just press. If you think your sewing looks terrible, good pressing will make it look 100 times better, I promise. Before we get to the last two, if you are experiencing all these things, and we're not alone. Know that you're not alone. We all go through these things. And well, sometimes it helps to have a community of people that understand all this as well and can laugh at as well as learn. I'm about to actually launch a new community feature inside Vintage Sewing School. That's my online sewing school where I have a whole community of people and we're all in there together. There's all the courses you need to learn how to sew, to get better at sewing and progress your skill levels. It's for everyone at every level to really learn the skills of sewing, understanding what you're doing so you can create anything you want. I'm just about to actually launch a new community feature in the coming weeks that I am so excited about. It is going to be amazing. If you're looking for a community of people where you can exchange ideas and laugh at these silly things that we all do and really learn and build your sewing skills, then I think Vintage Sewing School might just be for you. I would love to have you there. I do invite you to join me. I put some links down below as well. And then of course, no one tells you just how important grainline is. Oh, I really wish that I was able to understand how important grainline is when I started sewing, because I think we've all have gotten the pattern pieces and just moved them all around and pushed them all down to make them fit on the fabric, because what difference would it make, right? I know, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we have all done this. I think every single sewist can relate to that one. Grainline is so important. It's a big difference between having a garment look right and it just looks wrong. And sometimes this turns into a complete disaster when you move all your different pattern pieces around on grainline. So I wish someone told me that. And that it is not a race. Be patient with your sewing. It actually takes a long time to make up a garment. If you see that 1 hour top, that 5 hour dress, times that by about 5 and that is likely more the time it will take to make up a garment. So just release those ideas that you'll just whip something up in an afternoon and slow down to enjoy the process, because it is about the process in learning the craft and the art and creating something really beautiful at the end of it. I really wish someone told me that it wasn't a race and that it's okay to slow down and really work on the craft and the art of making something really, really well, because it does take a long time to make up a proper garment. And it is absolutely worth all the extra effort and time at the end when you have that gorgeous garment that just fits you lovely, looks beautiful on the inside, and you can just really feel proud in wearing. I know you know that feeling, or you're about to experience that feeling very soon. I love to hear which ones of these that you can relate to the most. I think it's something we all experience. And of course, leave your comments below and add in ones that I might have forgotten about. Do read all those comments because there is going to be absolute golden nuggets of sewing wisdom down there from all of you. Sharing is how we all learn our sewing, and I really look forward to reading all those. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy sewing. Bye.